Episode 1 takes place about 30-some-odd years before Episode 4, which was the original film.
What is it? Your father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight. Not as clumsy or random as a blaster. An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
I was looking for a kind of sword fighting that was reminiscent of what was in the movies that we'd already done, but a more energized version of it, because we'd actually never seen real Jedis at work. We'd only seen crippled half-droid, half-men, and young boys that had learned from these old people. So to see a Jedi in his prime fighting in the prime of the Jedi, I wanted it to be a much more energetic and faster version of what we've been doing.
So I think he wanted something special. I think he wanted the audience to understand where these Jedis came from, what their powers were, and how sophisticated they were in the art of battle.
The Sith Knights were started by a fallen Jedi Knight who was tempted by the dark side. The secret was that they were patient and they trained and studied, but they didn't make their presence known to anybody until we get to Episode 1 here, where they finally make their move to try to take over the universe.
With this film, the fighting had to be very strong. But what I had in mind after watching the first Star Wars films was that you would see that they had studied every single style of swordplay, you know, from epee to kendo. That's what we've gone for. I like that there. That's strong in there, isn't it? You know, kendo movies. Since they had chosen such a short-range weapon, they would have to be so good if they're up against ray guns and lasers. I think it just needed to be much more gritty than it was, you know, much more scary than it was, much faster and much stronger. They have to be constantly in check. There's no room for error in any of the fights. You won't see it because they're so fast, but if you slowed them down and freeze-framed them, they can only parry there, or they can only attack there. The moves are so natural, or so correct. It's the only place they can be.
The first time we were rehearsing these fights, of course, we started making the sound effects of the lightsabers, like, you know, we kind of looked at each other and I thought, okay, we have to stop that, you know. It's interesting, I mean, I've done maybe 4 or 5 films where I've had to do quite serious sword fighting. So I have a kind of a grounding in it. Normally with like sabers, you have to kind of hack, you know, and put weight behind it, but with these things it's very, very gentle, kind of smooth and fluid. Fast movements, but very kind of gentle at the same time. And when they use their lightsabers, they're extensions of themselves, you know.
I love having my lightsaber. It's the most exciting thing I've ever known. To have my own lightsaber is cool. There's not many people can say that they have one.
I mean, you're almost straight out of that. Once that's gone in, you're spinning and chopping, because he just steps in.
Right, so what is it again from there?
Yeah, just that from the... We were blessed with both you and Liam. I think they understood that it had been written almost as dialogue, and so they could relate to it very easily.
And it's got such a particular style of its own, really, the lightsaber fights. So I don't know, it just all came together. I love it. I've really enjoyed it.
Ewan picked it up in a flash, and now it's I think faster than any of us. So this is a Ewan McGregor lightsaber. We have to it goes through one fight. We're gonna have to get stronger ones made. They don't make lightsabers like they used to. Liam has a beautiful style, powerful.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what makes it work. He's fantastic at it.
I said I wanted a faster version of what the other movies were, more energetic version. And that's basically what he gave me. And I think the key to it was that we had a good villain who was a great fighter.
I always wanted to fly when I was a kid. I wanted to be like the guys in the movies. So that's how I started my martial arts.
I found Darth Maul, and he's being played by a guy called Ray Park. And he's very good in like kendo and martial arts, and he's a brilliant gymnast. I mean, you know, he's better than I am.
We actually cast a villain who was a sword fighter. You know, when you have one of the characters who actually knows what he's doing and is really an expert at it, it definitely ups the ante for all the other actors to do their thing as well as they can. And I think it makes a big difference on the screen.
We could see immediately he had the look, he had all the physical skill. He was incredibly disciplined, and the amount of work that this guy did was phenomenal. I mean, he put everything. He spent, 20 hours at the studio every day. The hatred that comes out of his eyes, there's no question that he is the serious bad guy. The makeup, which was beautifully done, instantly shows you someone who is a real menace.
The look of Darth Maul, the Sith Lord, I think it's cool. I think the makeup and the horns and the lenses and the teeth, you just can't help being naughty, just help being that character. I think we all have a bit of a dark side in us, and so I just try and bring that out myself when I play the character.
No, he's got to kick him and then jump up, because in the next cut he's landing. He jumps way up.
Okay, so then he could kick him and then jump.
Jump, yeah, you got to kick him and then jump. It would be not a very exciting sequence. I think it was all just done with doubles. I want to try something else, because most of the emotion of the fight is on people's faces. Do it slow. You go like that. Now you got to kick him. Now I don't even think if you did it with stunt people, they'd all be little tiny things in the frame. You'd never get close to the emotion that you get when you actually see the actors playing the part and see the actors struggling in the fight sequences.
With 3 months of really hard work, they came up with a wonderful set of choreographic fights that were really remarkable and fantastic.
They've got to be down there doing it. You've got to get the sense of peril or threat. We want them to win. They're our heroes, and so we need to be there with